Hi, I'm Mrs. Hannah Angelin. In this video, we will be learning about the method of tension coefficient used in the analysis of pin-jointed plane trusses. This method was introduced by R. V. Southwell in 1920. This method is based on the equilibrium conditions of joints, develops equations for the components of member forces along the coordinate axis at each joint. He developed a relation between components of member forces along coordinate axis and the member coordinates at the connecting nodes. This relationship enables the use of force per unit length of the member in the analysis. Tension coefficient is the term which is given for the ratio between the force in the member to its length. Small t denotes tension coefficient. Capital T is the pull or push, the force in the member, and L denotes the length of each member. The method of analysis for two-dimensional plane trusses: determine the coordinates of each joint in x and y directions, determine the length of each member, determine the coefficient of tension of each member with the help of equilibrium equations. Calculate the axial force in each member. So let us see the equations of equilibrium of a two-dimensional pin-jointed structure. We know sigma m equal to 0, sigma v equal to 0 and sigma h equal to 0 are the three equilibrium equations which have already dealt in determining the static determinacy or indeterminacy of a structure. That is to determine the unknowns at the support. Here, to find the axial forces by the method of tension coefficient, we make use of these two equilibrium equations. Sigma fx and sigma fy both are equal to 0. That is, the summation of all the horizontal forces is equal to 0. Summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. These two are the equilibrium equations that are used to determine the axial forces in all the members of the truss. Let us assume a member Ij in xy plane. Since it is a two-dimensional pin-jointed structure, I assume an axial element in xy plane. The coordinates of I node is xi, yi. Coordinate of jth node is xj, yj. Let us assume tension at both the joints and the force is denoted by Tij and length of the member is L. So to find what is the angle of inclination, I have the coordinates when produced along x and y directions. Cos theta can be determined as the adjacent side by the length of the member. The adjacent side is nothing but the x coordinate of jth node minus x coordinate of ith node by the length of the member. That is what is given here. So here when I need to find Tx, that is the x component of the inclined force, let me name it as Tx. Tx is equal to Tij into cos theta. So I can replace the value of cos theta which I have determined here instead of cos theta here. So I can get a relation as xj minus xi by L, which is nothing but xij by L. I write xj minus xi as xij by L. So when I am going to have L towards this side, I have a relation of force per length of the member into x coordinate. So this term is what is given as tension coefficient by R. V. Southwell, force in the member to its corresponding length. The horizontal component of the force Tx is a product of tension coefficient into its x coordinate. Same way along y direction I can write it as Tij into Yij. A length of member Ij can be determined as the distance between these 2 points squared plus the distance between these 2 points squared is equal to the length squared, like we use in Pythagoras theorem, or length is equal to root of xij squared plus yij squared. What is xij? Xij is xj minus xi. So always we should write x coordinate of the far end minus x coordinate of the near end. If it is XAB, it should be XB minus XA, YB minus YA. Hope it is clear now. So what we have learnt here, what is tension coefficient? The force in the member to its corresponding length, and the horizontal component of the inclined force and the vertical component of the inclined force can be determined as the product of tension coefficient and its corresponding coordinate. If it is along x direction, it will be xij. If it is along y direction, it will be yij. And length of the member Lij is root of xij squared plus yij squared. Since it is two-dimensional, we write only x and y coordinate. When we come to space truss, we go for z coordinate. Let us see a worked out example. So here it is shown as a two-dimensional truss, pin jointed truss, cantilever pattern. It carries loading as shown. The distances are given. Let us take this side as x-axis and the vertical as y-axis. My first step is determination of coordinates. So I write here joints. The coordinates along x and y directions are made known based upon the length given in the problem. So I can take any node, any joint as origin. So let me consider E as origin. So E coordinate, I have x comma y as 0 comma 0. Let me take coordinate B. So from this axis, it is at a distance of 3 meter. So x is 3, 4.5 meter. So I write 3 comma 4.5. See here, B joint is 3 comma 4.5. Coordinates of each node is shown here. My first step is determination of coordinates. Next step is the determination of length. All the members are given one below the other. Here x coordinate is shown, here y coordinate, and the length is mentioned here. So if I am going to write for AB, A is my near end and B is my far end. The coordinates of A will be xi comma yi, coordinates of B will be xj comma yj. That is what is made note here. Check for the first one. Coordinates of A 0 comma 4.5. See here, for A, xi is 0, yi is 4.5. Now my far end is B, that becomes xj comma yj. Coordinate of B is 3 comma 4.5. So for B, I write xj as 3 and yj as 4.5. Let me take some other member. Let me take DE. D is my near end, E is my far end. For near end, the coordinates will be xi comma yi. The coordinates of my far end is xj comma yj. Like this, we fill in this tabulation for all xi, yi, xj, yj. Whichever pattern you have considered in each member, my first term will be my near end, my second node will be the far end. If you have taken ED, the coordinates of E will be xi, yi. Coordinates of D will be xj, yj. Correspondingly, fill in this tabulation. Now we will find what is xij. Xij is xj minus xi. See here, 3 minus 0. I got the answer. 6 minus 3. I got the answer. 3 minus 6 minus 3. Same way I got for all. Same pattern for yij. Yj minus yi. So 4.5 minus 4.5. Here also 2.25 minus 4.5. I got a negative value. So after finding xij and yij for each member, I can find the length of each member. So I have given the term Lij in general. If I need to consider for BD, it will be LBD. If I need to consider for BC, it becomes LBC. Okay. Corresponding x coordinate squared plus corresponding y coordinate squared and taking the square root. I get these answers. These are the lengths for each member in this plain truss. My second step is over now. So first step, I have determined the coordinates. Second step, the length is being determined. Third step, we need to determine the tension coefficients. Only then I can find the force in all the member as a multiplication of tension coefficient and its length. Here I have determined the length of the member Next, I'm going to find the tension coefficient. So multiplying length and tension coefficient, I will get the value of the force in each member. So to find the tension coefficient, as told earlier, we make use of the equilibrium equation, sigma V equal to 0 and sigma H equal to 0, or in other terms, summation of all the horizontal forces is equal to 0 and summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. Tx is equal to Tij into Xij. So whatever is the total force acting in the x direction, summation has to be done and equated to 0. Same way along y direction, Ty is equal to Tij into Yij. We are going to write equations in such a way that solving we get the tension coefficient in each member and finally the final forces in all the members. Here it has a pinned end, here it has a pinned end, and C is the free end. Let me begin with joint C because at this joint I have two members meeting at this joint. The tension coefficient in these two members are unknown. I have two equilibrium equations, summation of all the horizontal forces is equal to 0 and summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. So I can start from joint C. With these two equations I can find these two unknowns. Okay. If I would have started from B, there are three members joining at B. Tension coefficient in three members are unknown, but I have only two equilibrium equations, so I cannot find. Same way at D, there are more number of members meeting at joint D which are greater than the available equilibrium equations. If I need to go to A or E, A I have two members, E I have one member. I can make use of equilibrium equation alone, but I need to find the reactions at these pinned ends. So for easiness I start from joint C. So from C I can start proceeding and go towards the other end such that I can find all the member forces easily. Okay, so let me start now. So first let me start from joint C. So I have drawn a free body diagram. So I have drawn CB, CD, whatever member, whatever load is at C I have just drawn. So to write equation at joint C, I write sigma Fx equal to 0. So x coordinate, see I have written the general statement, x coordinate into tension coefficient. X coordinate into tension coefficient of all the members meeting at joint C is written. Check if there is any horizontal force at joint C. If there is no horizontal force at joint C, just the summation is equal to 0. Okay. So here I have started from joint C. So I have given the notation as CB, CD. Just check it out. I have started from joint C. So I have given all notations starting from C. So here I have x coordinate of CB, TCB plus x coordinate of CD, TCD. So I can go to the tabulation to check what is the value of Xij. See here, for my CB value, I go here to find what is the CB value. I have BC value, that is 3. For BC it is 3, I should check what is for CB. So if I need to calculate for CB, my near end has become far end and my far end has become near end. So what I can do, whatever is the answer I have put here, it will be the opposite way, or directly I can write for BC if it is 3, for CB it will be minus 3. So I can write a statement like this, Xij is not equal to Xji, but Xij is equal to minus Xji. Same way y coordinate and z coordinate. So here in BC I had 3. In CB I need to put opposite sign because my near end and far end has exchanged now. It has become minus 3. So CD is directly calculated in this tabulation as minus 3. So I can take the value of CD directly and put it here as minus 3. I have taken only the x coordinate, Xij. Tension coefficient values are unknown, so I have formed a relation. So finally I will solve to get the value of tension coefficient. Next I write equilibrium equation for sigma Fy equal to 0 to get the second equation. I write all y coordinate of each member into the tension coefficient, and if any vertical direction force, I do a summation equated to 0. I have 10 kilonewton acting in the downward direction, so I need to calculate that as minus 10. Check here YCB. So here I have BC. BC value is 0. CB is also 0. So I get an answer of 0 here. For CD, Y coordinate minus 2.25. Directly I have substituted as minus 2.25. And TCB, TCD are unknowns. I form a relation. Finally, solving simultaneously, I get the values of two unknowns, that is tension coefficient in CB and tension coefficient in CD. So we have determined the first two member tension coefficients in the truss, that is CB and CD. So let me put a mark here telling these two member tension coefficients has been determined. Now let me think of going to D. This is already known, but there are three more members yet to be determined, but I have only two equilibrium equations, so I cannot determine now. Let me go to B. There are three members joining at B. The value for one member is determined, so I have only two members remaining. I have two equilibrium equations, so I can go to B to find the tension coefficients of two members BA and BD. Next, let us solve at joint B. So I have drawn what all the members joining at B, and if there is any load, external load or reaction at B for solving. I have two equilibrium equations, sigma fx equal to 0, sigma fy equal to 0. Summation of all the x coordinate into tension coefficient of all the members meeting at the joint, and if any horizontal force or reaction at joint B has to be taken. So I write x into t for each member. There is no horizontal loading or reaction, so equated to 0. So already I have determined the value of TCB in the previous case. That is same for TBC. It is a coefficient, so I can write Tij is equal to Tji. Previously I wrote Xij is not equal to Xji, but with a negative sign, because near n will be shifted as far n and far n to near n. But here tension coefficient, whether it is taken from one side to the other or towards the other side towards the near n, both remains the same because it is a coefficient for a member. So previously we have determined for CB, that is same as BC now, so I can make use of the relation. I can directly substitute for solving. So I write the second equation, sigma Fy equal to 0, all the y coordinates into the corresponding tension coefficient. If there is any y directional force or reaction at joint B has to be considered. So this 20 kilonewton is acting downward, so minus 20 has to be put here and finally substituted based upon the coordinates which we see in step 2. Let us see for YBA. So here YBA, hope you can see this. For AB, I have 0. For BA also it is 0. Same way, check here. Let us check for BD, whether it is minus 2.25. For BD, minus 2.25. So directly we have put here as minus 2.25. And finally for BC it is again 0. So solving, we get the unknowns TBA and TBD. BC is already known, so we get the tension coefficients of all the member meeting at joint B. Now I can go to D because there are only two member forces which are unknown. I have two equilibrium equations. So let us go to joint D. I have drawn all the members connecting at joint D. If any horizontal loading or vertical loading at D also has to be marked. So here no loading, just the members. I have drawn all the members connecting at D, meeting at D. So here we already know the value of TDB because we have calculated from the other direction as TBD. Okay, I take that answer here. We already know what is TCD. From joint C we have calculated, that is the same as TDC. I told you Tij is equal to Tji. Okay, you should bear that in mind. So calculate the value of the remaining unknowns, that is Tda and Tde. So Tda and Tde are the unknowns. Tdb and Dc are the known values. So finally I can form relation with x coordinate into corresponding tension coefficient, which forms the equation of equilibrium, which is the equilibrium equation, that is summation of all horizontal forces is equal to 0. So I can get the coordinates from step 2 for each x coordinate and substitute. If any tension coefficient is known to us, we can directly substitute. Form equation. Same way y coordinate. Y coordinate for each member joining at D, whether the tension coefficient is known or unknown. I write all coordinates in x and y direction with the corresponding tension coefficient, then summation equated to 0. Finally solve simultaneously to get the value of unknowns. So here what we have done the value. Here we have calculated the unknowns dA, Tda. Here we have calculated the values of Tda and Tde. Now all the values, now tension coefficient of all the members are determined. Let us go to the final step, calculation of axial forces. So see here, axial forces. So in this tabulation, all the members which you have considered in step 2 has to be written. All the lengths which you have calculated in step 2 has to be written. Tension coefficient, what all you have calculated in step 3 has to be written. And finally, the forces can be calculated as a multiplication of length into tension coefficient. That is what is given as tension coefficient is defined as force in the member to its corresponding length. So L is known, T is known. I just multiply to find the force, whether it is a tensile force or a compressive force. If the force is a negative value, then we tell it is a compressive force. If the force is a positive value, we tell it is a tensile force. So this is an axial force diagram drawn pictorially to represent whatever we have calculated numerically. Okay. So tension denotes tension in the member, C denotes compression in the member. So correspondingly axial force diagram is drawn. So what we have done, it is a cantilever plane truss. We can start from a joint where I have two member forces as unknown. I have two equilibrium equations, that is summation of all the horizontal forces is equal to 0 and summation of all the vertical forces is equal to 0. So if there are two member unknowns, I can make use of these two equations to find the unknowns in these two members. So first step, tension coefficient in these two members can be determined. Multiply by the corresponding length, we got the force in the member and its nature. Okay. Then proceeding from one end towards the other end, towards the support, I can find the forces in all the members. So it is easy for us, without calculating the reactions at the support itself, we were able to calculate the axial forces in all the members. Okay. So in case if it is a must to calculate the reactions, only then if we can proceed to find the unknown, what can we do? We shall see that next. I hope you have understood this cantilever frame now. Let us see this pin jointed plane truss, which is simply supported. So the framework is shown. It carries load as shown in the figure at B and at D. We have equilibrium equations. Sigma m is 0, sigma v is 0 and sigma h is 0. These three are the equilibrium equations we make use of to find the unknowns at the support. Previously I told you, to find the unknowns at the support, we make use of sigma m equal to 0, sigma v equal to 0 and sigma h equal to 0. So see how we have calculated, how we have made use of these equilibrium equations. So you should be able to understand how Vc and Va can be determined as well as Ha can be determined with the help of equilibrium equations. If you find out that the analysis of the pin jointed truss two-dimensional cannot be determined from any one end which has two members unknowns, without the calculation of reactions, then the calculation of reactions is the first step in your analysis. Just check out, if I am going to start from D, there are three members as unknown. I have only two equilibrium equations, so I cannot proceed. If I go to B, I have 3 members again. I have 2 equilibrium equations, so I cannot start. What are the 2 equilibrium equations? Sigma fx is equal to 0 and sigma fy equal to 0. Those two are the equilibrium equations to find the internal forces. Okay. For external forces, we had these 3 equilibrium equations. Don't get confused. To find the internal forces, we have sigma fx is equal to 0 and sigma fy equal to 0. So at joint D and B, we cannot start because there are members which are access to the equilibrium equations that are available to determine the axial forces in a two-dimensional plane truss. Let us go to A and C. There are 2 members coming out. So I can make use of the 2 equilibrium equations to find the member forces in these 2 joints. But suppose A and C has reactions, those has to be determined, those have to be taken for our calculation. Okay. So check from one end towards the other. If the truss can be analyzed without calculating the reactions, we can proceed easily. If it is a must that we need to calculate the reaction to analyze the calculation of reactions, let it be the first step. So we have discussed earlier determination of coordinates. So assuming any one end as the origin, whichever you feel it is easy, you can take it as origin, and based upon the corresponding length and height given, form the coordinates for each joint. Okay. Then we go for the calculation of length. For each member, we need to find the x coordinate and y coordinate. With the help of these two, we need to determine the length because tension coefficient is force per length of the member. A is the near end. Coordinates of A is xi comma yi. Check here. Coordinates of A is 0 comma 0. That is what is mentioned here. Xi is 0, yi is 0. Coordinates of B, this is far end, we have xj comma yj. Xj and yj for far end is 3 comma 0. So I have made a note here 3 comma 0. Same let us see for BD. B coordinate is xi comma yi, D coordinate is xj comma yj. For B coordinate, check here 3 comma 0. I write it as xi is 3, yi is 0. For D, I have xj comma yj being the far end 3 comma 3. So I write 3 comma 3. Same way fill in the whole tabulation. Now we will determine what is xij for each member, yij for each member, and finally the length of each member. We are going to take each joint and analyze to check what is the tension coefficient in each member. At joint A, there are 2 members meeting. I have AD and AB. So I have considered joint A. So all my terms when I am going to solve now will start from A. So it will be AD, AB. Okay. So here I have 2 reactions. So check in the given problem. I have 40 kilonewton horizontal reaction and vertical reaction 10 kilonewton. Both has to be shown in this free body diagram with 40 kilonewton and 10 kilonewton. So I have written sigma fx equal to 0, my first equilibrium equation. So first equilibrium equation is x into tension coefficient of AB plus x into tension coefficient of AD if any horizontal force and equated to 0. My horizontal reaction here goes in the opposite direction of x, positive x. So I have put here as minus 40. Check table 2. X coordinate of AB is 3. In my second equilibrium equation, y coordinate of AB is 0. Same way AD, my second member. Let us check the coordinates of AD. X coordinate is 3, y coordinate is 3, and also if any horizontal force or vertical force acting at joint A. Simultaneously solving, we have determined the values of the tension coefficient values of AD and AB. Now let us proceed further to find the unknowns in other members. Next let us go to joint B. So if I go to joint B, I have 3 members joining at B. The tension coefficient of one member is known. The other 2 has to be determined. I have 2 equilibrium equations, sigma fx equal to 0, sigma fy equal to 0. So I can solve in these 2 members now. So I have gone to joint B. So the diagram is drawn here with the loading at joint D and all the members connecting at joint B. So sigma Fx equal to 0, that is x coordinate into tension coefficient of all the members connecting at joint B, and if any horizontal direction force in the positive or negative direction. Okay. So always right word is taken as positive and upward is taken as positive in x and y directions. So x coordinate is taken from table 2, x coordinate of BA. If I have AB, opposite sign has to be put here. If I have DB, opposite sign has to be put, and so on. So here I have another equilibrium equation at the joint, that is sigma Fy equal to 0. So y coordinate into tension coefficient of each member, and if any vertical direction force has to be equated, and finally simultaneously solve to get the answers of tension coefficient of the two members joining at joint B. So now I can tell, after solving, I get the tension coefficient of these two members. Now only one member is left. I can go to joint D or I can go to joint C. Just tension coefficient of one member is unknown, so I can make use of any one equilibrium equation so that I can find the unknown, that is the tension coefficient in the member CD or DC. The diagram is drawn here with the vertical reaction, that is sigma Fx equal to 0. One equilibrium equation is enough to find the one unknown. So with this I have found what is the value of TCD. So tension coefficient of all the members is known. Now we shall proceed to the final step, determination of axial forces in all the members with the length and the tension coefficient being calculated in the previous steps. So length of each member, tension coefficient of each member is calculated and multiplied to get the value of force in each member. If the answer is negative, it tells it is a compressive force. If the answer is a positive force, then it is a tensile force. So it is an axial force diagram pictorially represented from this numerical values. In this video we have learned to determine the axial forces in the members of a plain pin jointed truss, which is a cantilever, and also here we have seen if it is simply supported. Hope you can understand. Thank you.